Welcome and welcome back. I'm B, and today we're discussing from season 3, episode 5. I really enjoyed this episode. Let's get into it. We start off with Boyd and Ellis helping an injured Randall into Colony House. Randall is screaming at Boyd, saying, "You did this, you left me," and I'm not really here for Boyd being blamed for what happened to Randall. What was Boyd supposed to do in that situation? Was he supposed to put everybody at risk? Tabitha, Jim, Henry himself, and Randall? I think that Boyd did the best that he could in that situation. I also think that if Nikki hadn't have been shot, Boyd might have tried to go back outside to help Randall. So next we see Boyd waiting at the clinic while Kenny and Jade are helping Christy. Boyd tells Kenny and Jade that Tabitha is back in town and Jade books it back to town. So we're starting to see more communication happen between these people. At Colony House, Donna is helping Henry get settled in. Victor and Sarah are on their way to Colony House to get supplies to find Jasper, the dummy in the tunnels. And everybody's staring at Victor in Colony House. Sarah thinks that they're staring at her, but they're not paying attention to you, Sarah. You're old news right now. Anyway, Donna tells Victor that Tabitha is back and that his dad is here. And Victor can't believe it, so he runs out of Colony House. And now Victor can't focus on Jasper because he's distracted by the fact that his father is in Fromville. I think that this is on purpose. I think it's obvious that Jasper is a big part of this, and they were about to get some answers by finding Jasper. The entities didn't want that, so they're distracting Victor. What do y'all think? I could be completely wrong about that, but we'll see. Tabitha is at home with her family, and Jade runs up in the house to get some answers from Tabitha. I think Jade is the audience at this moment because when Jim said, "I took down some of the bottles off of the bottle tree and there were slips of papers," Jade was like, "And you don't think that's important?" And Jim was like, "Well, this town is trying to fuck with us." And I'll give it to Jim. He ain't wrong that, the town is trying to mess with them. However, it is important to communicate regardless. So Jade wants to go to the bottle tree to see if they can get some answers. And in this scene, I was amused that he kept on cursing and apologizing because Ethan was sitting there. And Tabitha even smiled. And I wondered if it was a part of the script for her to smile or if the actual actress, was just genuinely amused by the fact that he was cursing in front of Ethan, even though it was a part of the script. So that was funny to me. So we're back at the clinic and Randall, he is going through it. And Kenny tells Boyd that there's something different by the lake. He doesn't seem to believe that it's the regular monsters. And I was like, well, thank goodness you said something. Y'all are communicating this episode. And Kenny asked a good question. Why didn't the monsters just kill Randall? Boyd thinks that Randall serves as a reminder from the monsters that the town folk aren't safe. I think the monsters are trying to turn the town folk against Boyd and sow some chaos. In the next scene, Donna shows Henry Victor's room. Henry talks about having some hope for the first few years that Miranda, Eloise, and Victor disappeared. He had hope that they would return home, but then he couldn't bear having that hope anymore, and it became easier to tell himself that they were dead. He feels like he gave up on his family. And this is really sad because he feels that guilt and maybe even some shame that he didn't do more for his family. But, what more could he have done? So we finally get to the town meeting that we have all been asking for, and it is a shit show. And that's probably why they haven't had town meetings, because they didn't know how to act. So Tabitha is telling her story, and everyone is like, "Why didn't you tell the police? Why didn't you try to get us help?" Henry had to tell them, even I didn't believe her at first, and my family disappeared too. And Fatima was leading the charge with all the questioning because she is over it. Miss Mamas is like, "Get me the hell out of here. I'm tired of eating rotten food and licking up blood like it's barbecue sauce. I'm ready to go." And I'm glad that the officer Acosta spoke up too, saying, "We thought she was hysterical. We didn't believe her." And even the nice lady, the nice heavyset lady, I don't remember her name, but she always has a scarf on. She was frustrated. She expressed her frustration towards Tabitha, and I was like, uh-oh. And I understand the frustration. I really do. But what exactly did they want Tabitha to do? I guess she could have tried harder to tell someone that what was going on, but as we see, no one except Henry believed her. And if she would have went to the police, they would have put her on a 5150 hold. So, I mean, what are people expecting Tabitha to do? And I just find it so rich that people in the town are going off on Tabitha, but on a regular basis, we see y'all in the town not doing nothing. So, y'all wouldn't have done better than Tabitha because y'all don't do shit when y'all in the town anyway. So they ran poor Tabitha off, and Boyd is telling them that we now have to, concrete proof that they can go home. And listen, they're not trying to hear all of that. And you have Dale. Dale was absolutely Daling this episode. He was obnoxious and annoying, and he was just fussing and complaining. And I'm just like, shut up and come up with a damn plan yourself if you're so tired of Boyd and his rules. And I mean, I guess he did that, as we'll see later on. If I was Boyd and Donna, I would let them go to the tree. Let them see for themselves. They're grown ass people. They can make their own decisions. Stop trying to save these grown people. They don't want to be saved. Don't save them. They don't want to be saved, okay? They don't want to listen. Let them fuck around and find out. So after the town meeting, Ellis runs after Boyd, and Boyd is upset because Ellis and Fatima were helping to rile up the town folks. And I could not believe that Ellis, of all people, said, well, we need someone around here to start doing something instead of sitting around worrying about what could go wrong. Sir, have you been asleep? What do you think your father has been doing? He's one of the few people there that have been trying to figure out a way out. The gall of Ellis to say something like that. So Boyd is like, all right, so whose life do you want to put on the line? Take your pick. All Ellis could do was stand there stuck on stupid. Yeah, exactly. So Boyd is in the police station now, and Officer Acosta comes in there. She's thankful that Boyd stood up for her. She wants to help, and she offers ideas. And Boyd, he's not here for her at all. He's like, you killed someone, stay out the damn way. And I'm conflicted about Acosta, because did she act recklessly, just shooting all over the place? Yes, in normal circumstances, yes, that would have been very reckless. However, she was in a situation that she's never been in before. She didn't intentionally try to kill anyone. So I feel like, I get people are upset, but I think they're laying into her a little too hard. And I can't believe y'all have me defending this cop. So Ellis catches Fatima eating rotten food, and she finally tells him what she's been doing. She's scared for the baby, and I'm starting to wonder if there even is a baby. Okay? We all know that not Tabitha, we all know that Fatima isn't right. And this ain't no regular pica disorder. She's either turning into a monster, or she's about to give birth to a monster. Now, while the town meeting was going on, Julie goes to Colony House to steal some weed from Ellis and Fatima. She bumps into Elgin, who almost knocks her head off, and they're getting high together, and they are communicating with each other. And Elgin is sharing about the kimono woman, and Julie talks about hearing screaming in her head, and she feels the screams. So smoking weed is the only thing that quiets the screaming. She doesn't talk to her parents about it because what the hell are their neglectful asses going to do about it? And Elgin asks her what she thinks it means that her mother got out, and Julie doesn't think it means anything. She says that she thinks the purpose of Frommville is to make them suffer, and the only way to make them suffer is to give them hope. And she might actually be right. So Elgin and Julie go down into the basement, and they find all of the past clothes and items of people of the town, and they're dressing up and they're playing around. And Julie finds a Polaroid camera that works, and they take pictures of each other. And I think Julie's picture is going to reveal something when they look at it later on. I liked Elgin and Julie's scene this episode. It was nice to see them being carefree and having fun. I'm not exactly sure how old Elgin is, or if they mentioned it. He reads as 18 to me, and I think Julie is 17 years old. So it's nice to see the teenagers just get to be teens for once, and they're having a moment of normalcy. So let's go back to Victor. He's sitting on what I assume is his mother's car. He's wondering what his father is going to think of him. He thinks his father is expecting to see that little boy that drove away. And I think that Victor has some awareness that he's different. So he's worrying about how his father is going to perceive him. And Sarah is trying to comfort Victor. And the way that Victor be reading Sarah down, he said, "You're not very good at this, Miss Mamas. Pack it up." And, I think Sarah was right, though. Henry's probably afraid of being the dad, or he's probably afraid of not being the dad that little Victor remembers. So then we see Ethan leaving the house, and guess who's not with him? Where's Jim? Why is Ethan going outside by himself? Ethan might as well have went to, with his mother and Jade to the bottle tree. Anyway, he sees Henry. Henry is staring at the motel sign and he's wondering where's the motel. And I never noticed that. So where is this motel? And I think that this is going to be important because they lingered on that sign for a little bit. Anyway, Ethan takes Henry to go feed the animals. Ethan tells Henry about Victor, and I think Henry is realizing that Victor is childlike based on the descriptions that Ethan is giving of him. And then Henry and Victor see each other. It's a family reunion, and I almost teared up during this scene. And then in the next scene, Bacta is watching Boyd, and Boyd goes into the bus, and Bacta follows him in. And she apologizes for not being supportive during the meeting and tells him that he reminds her of her sister. And she tells him that she's going to have his back more. And I like Bacta. And I think that they're setting her up for a sister role for Boyd. So I hope they don't kill her off. And then we see Jade and Tabitha are at the bottle tree and they're looking through the notes that have all the dates on them. One of them says 2659, and that threw me because I thought that these were actual dates. If they are dates, then what does it mean that it is one from the future? And I hope they're not going to do some sort of time travel storyline because that's going to lose me. So hopefully that's not what it means. So Jade says that it only looks like chaos until you understand the pattern. So let's hope Jade can solve this mystery. Now we get Dale's obnoxious ass who pops up at the bottle tree. And he's talking his shit and he decides to go into the tree. And I'm glad that Tabitha and Jade didn't try to stop him. Next scene is people screaming. I'm like, oh shit. I knew it had something to do with Dale, but I'm like, what's going on? And I gasped when I saw Dale cemented into that pool wall. I was not expecting that at all. And then you have that extra in the red talking about, can you help him? And I'm like, Miss, what do you want Boyd to do? What is he supposed to do? You help him. Some of these folk in the town really get on my nerves because they don't be doing shit, but they be complaining about what Boyd is or isn't doing. So I think Fromville was sick of Dale's whining, complaining ass, as everyone else was, and was like, I got something for that ass. But seriously, I do think that Dale was a lesson to them folks. Like, you can't just go hopping around in any tree, okay? So Boyd is looking around like, who's next? Who wants to go next? You see, he fucked around and he found out. So that was a great episode. We still have a lot of questions to answer, but I am enjoying the ride. So what did y'all think of episode 5? What are some of your theories based on today's episode? Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more horror content.